So yeah, it's gonna be kind of like a bit of a loose presentation. We'll talk a bit about kind of this game we're working on at Cartridge, and I'll say it again for I guess the YouTube video. Cartridge is a gaming infrastructure company. We started out building a game, and we wanted to experiment with session keys. So one of the problems with like crypto gaming usability is like a year and a half ago when we started Cartridge, any kind of like game action that you wanted to be on chain had to go through like a confirmation step, and that kind of breaks the magic of a game. So that was the problem that we were going to solve with Cartridge, and we built the controller, which is a web wallet for games, and we implemented session keys, and it's really cool. You can like create a contract and play a game, and all those transactions, you can permission your wallet to do game actions on your behalf. So for the player, you would just be like interacting with the UI, and all of it can be on chain, but it wouldn't feel like a game. So that was the problem that we solved, but we kind of got to a point where there just weren't like the game space on Starknet wasn't like super fully formed. It was still in its infancy. So Cartridge is committed to solving that problem. It's like, how do we get better games on Starknet? How do we make on-chain games a reality? What are the tools that we can give people? And one of the initiatives that we've been contributing to recently is called Dojo. And Dojo is an ECS game engine, an entity component system game engine that standardizes a lot of tools for game developers. You get an indexer right out of the box. You get a sequencer. We're really interested in Madara and some of the work they're doing for like app chains and layer 3s to reduce transaction time and all that. And in order to test this game, we're kind of returning to this project that we started in Dope Wars, which was the NFT DAO that kind of birthed Cartridge. So Dope Wars, what is Dope Wars? It's an old game. It was invented in 1984 on DOS, and it's kind of a text-based game. The idea is that you travel between different locations and you arbitrage drug prices. So you buy cocaine in Brooklyn, you travel to Manhattan, you get a different price, and you try to make a profit. And it was really fun. People played in math class on their TI-85 calculators. And over, since it came out, there have been a lot of derivatives of this game. I think this was the original Dope Wars game, Drug Wars game. So it's just text-based, and you're buying and selling. There are random events that happen, and it was really fun, and it's durable, and it's still fun to this day. And Dope Wars, the NFT project, was inspired by this game. So they wanted to build an on-chain version of this game, like a social version of this game where you can play with other people, and it was also inspired by the Loot project. So this looks very similar to the original Loot project by Dom, where it's just an NFT with randomly generated attributes. So these are the original Dope Wars NFTs. You'd get a car, you'd get gloves, shoes, bikes, and then it's kind of a new approach to game design. This is a bottom-up approach. So you give people the primitives, and then you hope that a game or a world starts to get created around those primitives. And that's something that we saw happen in the Dope Wars DAO. An artist named Mr. Fax came in, and he started to design characters around kind of these original NFTs. This is my hustler, call them hustlers, and these were deployed on Optimism, and these are really cool because you could we wrote a tool that allowed you to kind of take this NFT and then mint an item for each of these properties, and then you can kind of mix and match them and send them to your hustler, and then that art would be reflected in the hustler's appearance. These are some of the core contributors to RYO. There's many more people who contributed to Dope Wars, but as far as like RYO, this game that we're working on, these are the guys who are like heads down working on it with Cartridge. So and then Parama is part of like the origin story of why Starknet for us. So Parama came into the Dope Wars server and he built a game engine on Starknet. And the things that were really interesting to us about Starknet at the time was that you could have protected private information, which is really important for certain types of games. Not only like any kind of strategy game, or like if there's a fog of war mechanic, then you don't want your location broadcast to everyone. That's like an important, it's an important property of like a lot of different kinds of games. Another example is like poker. If you're playing poker with somebody and it's on chain, if they can see your hand by reading the contract, then you can't really play a good game of poker. So yeah, these are just some of the contributors, and these are them joining the Dope Wars server. So this goes back all the way to 2021. And then more things started to come out of like the Dope Wars ecosystem. So this is dopewars.gg. It was designed by a really awesome dude named Faces. He was one of the like OG Dope Wars contributors. We designed a marketplace for the hustlers and the items and the gear, and then we started to do some first passes at that RYO game. We call it Roll Your Own. This is the drug wars game that I was talking about earlier. So these are the different illustrations of the different drugs. We have some mock-ups for the different pages in the app, and we did this about 2 years ago. So we were kind of waiting for the Starknet ecosystem to evolve before we could make this game a reality. And recently we started to build it out. So we did some visual explorations into Roll Your Own. We were really interested in this like DOS theme, kind of like a throwback to the original game. We have some of the original illustrators from the Dope Wars DAO kind of working on the game. So these are some illustrations that will accompany some of the pages. And then we also have some sound design. So we'll have some music in the game. We'll have a media player component that will, and these sound really good. I lost their where. These sound really good, so maybe I'll play some at the end of this talk. Yeah. So what I'll kind of do for the rest of the workshop is maybe talk through some of the pages, and we'll look at the game loop, and then in about a week or so, this game will be demoable. We're going to demo it at ETHCC in Paris. So simple game loop. These are like, all the pages. There's some responsive versions of them, but the game loop is really simple. So you start in a location. You pick a new destination. You start in a location. You buy and sell different drugs. So that page is over here. So you'll like select lewds, and you want to buy lewds. So it'll present you with a price. There will be a quantity available. We're spawning liquidity pools for each of these drugs at different like randomized. So you'll interact with that location by filling your bag and purchasing a drug. None of this is actually monetary, so we're not trying to make money with this game. We're just really interested in some of the properties, and we want to test the Dojo ECS system. And then you end your turn by picking a new location. You travel to that location, and maybe there's a random event that might impacts, like maybe you get mugged and lose some money, maybe you get arrested and lose a turn. We're really excited to kind of like expand on these different random events and through playtesting. And then there's a turn summary page, and it just kind of tells you all the things that occurred during that turn, and then you repeat that process like 30 times, and there is a leaderboard at the end. So the person who is the most successful at that will have that memorialized on the Dope Wars leaderboard. And this for this first pass of the game, this will be the simple game loop that we launch with, but we're really interested in building some additional features. So we have a chat page that we're going to add to the game. We'll create lobbies where multiple people can join a game and then play against each other. And we're interested in like equipping items and like kind of slowly adding different features to the game once we have kind of a testable, playable version of it. And then at the end there's a game over page, and that shows the results and the leaderboard. For me, this process has been a lot of fun. I really like the design that we've built out, and one of the things I'm particularly excited about is turning this design into a UI kit for other games. So pretty soon, if you come to the Dojo ecosystem and you're building a game and you want like if you want a set of components that you can use to build out that game, we're going to be kind of taking this design scheme and turning it into like a Figma file that you can share, and you'll be able to kind of like plug in these buttons into your game. So this is kind of my pet project, working on this like UI kit and style sheet, and kind of share some of the design work that we've done. So that is Dope Wars. It's right around the corner. We actually have a lot of the development work done for it, but we had some issues getting it loaded onto my laptop. It has to be locally hosted right now, and we just didn't have the time today to kind of get that up and running. But in about a week, it'll be playable, so you'll be able to go to Roll Your Own, our website, and you'll be able to kind of play around with Starknet. And it's one of the first projects that's going to be first games that's going to be launched on Dojo. So come check it out, and I'm happy to kind of answer any questions if you guys want to DM me or I don't know, like play it yourself. So yeah, that's my TED Talk.